Hi, I'm Luke. Today on Auto Darts, we are checking out another community design. This is the Breaking Wind from CYardNerf. I'm a little bit behind, so let's just get right to it. CYardNerf, for those who don't remember, were responsible for the second wind blaster, which is a BigShock modification that I really liked because it was quite quirky. This was their next project that they did in-house, and they do sell these over on Etsy, as far as I'm aware. We'll have all the links and everything, other notes down in the description. This is a shell ejecting blaster that can shoot a variety of different shells, and I think it's a really clever, great design. I'm really late to doing this review because stuff keeps piling up here, both stuff to do around the warehouse and different projects we're working on, our own designs, other people's designs, and then all the random review projects. As a lot of YouTubers know firsthand, review stuff is really easy to have it pile up because you want to make sure you get the right video done. You want to make sure that you actually get a chance to test it and look at it. And there's no shortage of content, but always a shortage of time. So the Breaking Wind is a shell ejecting blaster, has a variety of ammo types. I'm gonna pop in one of the Mega here. And this thing packs a punch. In the grip here, hidden around the back where you can actually see whether you're primed or not, which I like, is essentially Caliburn style tubing. It's the same size, so it's very, very heavy. And of course, I have not ejected that, so I will manually do that first. Here we've got a buckshot, which is a 3-shot rival. And that is really cool. Those shells will eject and can be dropped right onto the ground. And the best part is these shells are made of TPU. So the shells themselves are actually slightly flexible, meaning that when they hit the ground, you're not going to crack your shell or break your shell. Some of these shells are directly designed from GDOP's Spring Thunder blaster, so they are intercompatible, but I love the touch of making them TPU because I've definitely seen a lot of these shells printed in PLA, from GDOP and others where, you know, they hit the concrete a couple times and the bottoms crack off or the side delaminates, and this takes that over. Here I've got a single Elite shell, so I'll pop that in. Got to get used to that. This is supposed to be, this is another GDOP, the bird shot, and this has 4 short darts in it, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I already did that wrong because I'm supposed to specifically prime then load, so we don't get vacuum loading and something pulling back into the base of the plunger. that had a pretty good punch, actually. I didn't think the 4 shots were going to go out of there, but when you've got an air volume as large as this, I guess it makes it pretty darn easy. One of the most interesting ones is this sniper barrel. So this has got to be loaded from the back, and this works a little bit differently because it doesn't quite properly eject. And at least I don't, maybe it does eject. Let's find out. So I've loaded 1 Elite dart in there. We're going to close that up. I love that these guys have printed this in purple for me. I like purple and gray. It's good color. But this thing hits hard. We'll put the numbers up on the screen just for the for the single. Oh, and you can drop that right out.
It does have a magnet, I believe.
In this side. That's actually for this thing. Oh, this does have that. What does that do?
I think it holds it in.
Oh, it does. You're right. Oh, okay, so that's so it doesn't... Okay, so you're not supposed to make the sniper barrel fall out, which does make sense because clearly this is PETG, like the rest of the blaster. It is not flexible filament or TPU. So there's a magnet on the inside here, and that actually just seems to like randomly find itself, but it holds that in place just enough so it doesn't drop out. And what that allows you to do is essentially side load, prime, fire, and just keep going through. That was probably not the right kind of... Oh, I'm going to vacuum load it now. Still hit pretty hard. That's a pretty fun mechanic, just brake action, side brake action. Boy, that thing hits hard. For a pistol, that's pretty cool. Pretty darn fun. I love the innovation here. I like that they're doing something different. My least favorite thing to see is when I see a blaster that comes out and it looks just like another blaster with a small tweak. I mean, we've all obviously seen a lot of TalonClaw and Lynx clones that are pretty similar. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just less compelling and interesting. Anytime there's a new mechanic or someone's trying something differently, I really appreciate that because that's always what we strive to do as much as possible, is to do new, unique stuff. And It's also a lot more fun. Let's do one more here. Man. Hopefully we'll get this out to an actual game as well. I know Brett brought his out to a game and he had a pretty good time with it. If I recall correctly, I do believe he actually got me out too, but he's usually gunning for me, so that's no surprise there. Ergonomically, despite having the large plunger tube in here, it's got a nice big grip. It's not the most comfortable grip I've ever felt, but it definitely is. It's large and chunky, and you know, you've got a lot of purchase here, so it feels pretty good in the hand overall. Aesthetically, I think this is a pretty big step in the right direction from their second wind. And I think it's cool that instead of taking a blaster and just modding it, they've now made the whole blaster themselves. Because when it really comes down to it, as a designer, if you're modding something like this, there's so much cutting involved and work. At some point, it's almost easier to just make the blaster. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to CYardNerf for sending this over. We'll have all their links down in the description. What other community blasters should I feature next? We've been slowly catching through some of our backload. Our shelf was getting completely full of designs and other products and video ideas. And we want to kind of get through some of those to give credit to the people that actually took the time to send us something for review. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm out of darts.